You were 13 on Pretty Little Liars or 14?
I was 12 when I did the pilot, 13 when we shot the first season, yeah.
Lindsay and I are just...
Girl.
Back then...
Girl.
We were okay with it, but I don't think I'm okay with it now.
That's because you've got a 10-year-old, though. Because I think that's probably... Is that part of it?
And also, well, I think it's because you were playing older, so that's fine. But as an actual 12-year-old, you were so sexualized.
So sexualized.
When you watch it back and knowing that you were 12... I don't think, I couldn't imagine anyone else as that part, but I don't like that you were 12. You know what I mean?
Fair enough.
And look, like you have a ferocious sensibility on this show anyway, like as the character. Just a big underlying undertone of who you are is this just like strong sexual presence as well. And like, you bring the fire, the sauciness, the this, the that to it, and you do it so well that I just can't get over that you were a preteen when you were doing that.
I'm terrible at taking compliments, so I'm gonna just look really uncomfortable every time you say something nice about me, but I appreciate that.
Also, my favorite thing, I think this was actually in one of the later episodes, it's when you're screaming at Toby about
Keegan has a whole story about that.
Oh my gosh. And I've never seen you do this presentation of it that I felt it in my chair.
That was the first time. I'm sure we had met briefly before, but that scene was the first time that Keegan and I had like interacted in a scene before, merely other than maybe like the table read, right? And he said he was scared. He didn't know how old I was. And then also he said he was really scared.
It was his first job.
It was his first job. And then there's just this like little girl yelling at him.
Yeah.
His face though, it sold the moment so well because he truly is like
with
you
that
can
weird
see
hairstyle that they
Oh my goodness.
He is totally in the palm of your hand and you're just like, I don't even see the acting on the page. Like it is vicious, like the way you do it. And like more power to you, but your character makes me feel something. Like
that's great.
Very much.
Yeah. I'm happy. I'm happy to hear that.
It
was so fun.
Yeah.
How did it feel do you remember being that young on the show and tackling such like pretty adult themes? Or were you so young that it kind of just went over your head? And then maybe as you've gotten older, you think, ooh, I was too young to process all that.
It feels weird to reference myself like this, but I feel like I'm a little bit of an enigma. And I say that because if you take who I was associating with at that age, all of my friends were older. All of my friends were at least 5 years older than me, predominantly.
Wow.
So I think I was an only child. I got into the industry when I was around 3 and a half. I grew up around crew and the environment, and it was intoxicating in the best way. Like I loved being on set. I loved being around adults. I didn't connect with kids my own age. I was homeschooled. Wow. I had really, really great, solid friends around me that were not in the industry, but they were older. I was going to high school dances. I was dating. I didn't feel out of place. So if you take another 12-year-old side by side, it might have been very different, but I would never have connected with somebody else my age anyway. Do I think that is how it should be? Maybe not.
Yeah.
So I think it's a hard thing because like I don't feel like I was ever taken advantage of on Pretty Little Liars.
No.
I loved our crew. Like they were incredible. They treated me and protected me so well. Do I think that the content was? I mean, Allison was sexualized. That is the character. It was in the book.
Yeah.
Should they have gotten an 18-year-old to play that? We can debate about that all day. I don't know. I think it's all about how it's done and making sure that whatever child is playing that role is okay.
You're talking about I've got a 10-year-old, almost 11, and I can't even fathom her understanding of, she knows what sex is. We've had the birds and the bees talk, but to actually understand the concept of sex and dating and drugs and affairs, and they, on the show we were talking about body image and all those things. I don't know, maybe I'm just not smart enough to see that she probably does think about these things, but I can't even fathom her even having that full understanding of what that is.
Right. I don't think most 12-year-olds.
I was going to say, that's why I'm saying like the enigma side or like the very like, in the majority of things that I have done in my life, and this is not like a woohoo, go me.
Yeah.
It's just like
I hope it is.
I mean, I more so just mean that the things that I have done have always been ahead of
The time.
of the time. Yeah. And so it's a hard comparison.
Yeah.
So it's not a bad thing or a good thing or I highly doubt your daughter understands what I understood at 10, but it's also environment. My parents were dancers. I was around adults. I traveled with them. I understood concepts maybe before I should have. And then as you get older, of course, you understand those things in different ways, and you dive deeper into it, and like you grasp maybe what you were saying. But
Did you get to be a kid without ever feeling like all that extra responsibility?
yeah, like I didn't play sports because if I was always working. So like if I played sports and I got injured, it would have been against my contract. So like I couldn't join a sports team. I couldn't like go and play club, anything. Yeah, I mean, I guess I didn't really, but that was okay for me. It's because it's what I wanted, right? And then you separate, okay, well, what you wanted at a 12 as a 12-year-old versus what you would have maybe wanted for yourself as an adult for your childhood is interesting. Like I would have loved to have played sports.
Right.
However, which sport?
I don't know. I played ultimate frisbee. My poor parents. No, seriously.
Sport I want to play is
my
frisbee.
Poor parents. I was
think you
such a
could have
fucking
done
good
that.
kid. Can we swear on this?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
fucking yeah.
Okay. I was such a good kid. I was such a good teenager. I'm gonna pat myself on the
Yeah.
back. I could have been.
I mean,
You've got it
for who
together.
you were, what you were exposed to. You were Drew Barrymore.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
And you come
Without
out this
all
like
the
without
stuff.
all that, yeah.
Without all
this
the other
like
stuff.
amazing baking, beautiful.
There's still time, right?
Yeah. No,
There's
no.
still
Maybe
plenty of time for me.
30s.
Yeah, I know. I'm like,
Yeah.
but my like retaliation for not being able to do certain things, ultimate frisbee is one of them. I was not allowed to play ultimate frisbee, and I would get a friend to pick me up, and we'd be going to the mall or whatever, and I would go and play ultimate frisbee. Isn't that so sad?
You're like, this is rebellion.
It is so sad. Yeah. I bought cleats with cash so that they didn't know. Like that is how. So sad.
But you don't
I feel
miss
like I
what you
could've-
don't know, right?
Exactly. It's one of those things where like, would I have rather have been working? Yes. Because I love it so much.
Yeah.
I never felt forced to be in the industry. And I will give that to my parents. It was, ironically, looking back at it, it was something that I couldn't have gotten out of, but they were sweet about it. That they always told me like, if you wake up tomorrow and you don't want to do this anymore, then we're done with acting.
But you
Going
were
back in it, I'm like, I was fucking under contract. I couldn't have.
You can't go.
But it was a cute open cage mindset. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Now that you have a beautiful baby son, he's 3.5, you were saying.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's as old as you were when you started.
Wow.
That's a trip.
Right.
So that is interesting when I look at him and compare, like, I was being put in a room for commercial auditions at his age. He is so, I mean, I could talk about him forever, as I know that you can talk about your kids forever too. He is so like lively and happy. Like he is such a happy kid. If he cries, something is like really wrong. And he just wants to say hi to everybody. He is so social. He has no concept of stranger danger. We're trying to navigate how to like introduce that to him without like breaking his heart. Because he just wants to hug everybody. He wants high fives. Like
Lindsay doesn't
wants
know
to
about stranger
shares his
danger
toys.
either. She's like, I like you.
Yes, he is, if you watch Bluey, because I'm sure you have, yes. He is the space invader.
Yeah.
He is literally a space invader. He just is attached to you. And I'm like, you gotta ask people if you want, if you can hug them. You know, like he just
Gets in their orbit. I love it.
But he's got so much confidence.
Oh.
It's crazy.
I'm going to tell you a little secret. I've never seen an episode of Bluey.
Really?
And my kids watch it almost every day.
Okay, well,
I'm a bad mom.
You're not a bad mom. You're not a bad mom.
I really dislike, I don't think a lot of parents say this. I don't love, how do I say this? I love my kids. I love traveling with my kids. I love doing things that I love to do with my kids. I find playing with my kids quite monotonous.
I get that.
It makes me sort of feel depressed. And a lot of moms talk, they like, oh God, thank goodness you've said that, because playing with your kids it seems fun for the first 5 minutes, but it just goes on. And then they won't stop. And then it's 3 hours of fucking pretending to be Bluey. I can't. I can't do it.